As you just noticed, this session will be recorded and it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel that will hold all of the virtual college road trip information sessions. So that's where you'll be able to find this after. Okay, we're gonna wait just another couple seconds here and then we're gonna get started. Okay, I think I'm gonna get started now. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so excited that you are here. My name is Michelle Levine and I'm the director of the Teen Initiative for the San Francisco Bay Area Jewish Federation. We are part of a funders collaborative. We're one of 10 cities around the country that is working to increase teen engagement in Jewish life. And we're excited tonight to partner with many of those cities in offering this virtual college road trip. We are thrilled to be part of this national initiative, as you may imagine, and we would like to take a moment to thank the Jim Joseph Foundation and a variety of local funders for their support in enabling us to be here tonight. So in a moment, I'm going to allow our panelists to introduce themselves, and then we'll have a chance to hear from each of them. Throughout the session, if you have questions, please post them using the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. And I'll do my best in relaying those questions to the speaker. And if we don't have a chance to get it at that moment, we will, at the end, if we have some time, answer more questions. And we have also shared any questions that you may have submitted in advance with our panelists. So let me start by introducing our panelists. I'm going to pass it over to Joelle. Joelle.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Joelle Rankins-Goodwin, and I am a Senior Assistant Director in the University of Oregon's Office of Admissions.
Thanks, Joelle. Andy.
I'm Andy Gittleson. I'm the Executive Director of the Oregon Hillel Foundation. We connect students at the University of Oregon as well as Oregon State. And I'll pass it over to Kaya.
Hello, my name is Kaya Rubenstein, and I am the Director of Leadership and Engagement here at Oregon Hillel. And I'm very excited to be here today.
And finally, I want to pass it off to Sasha.
Hi, I'm Sasha. I'm a sophomore PR major at the University of Oregon.
Thank you. Thank you all again for being here tonight. I am going to now pass it over to Joelle for her to start her presentation. Joelle.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, wait, let me do this first. Share screen. Share. All right, can everyone see my screen now?
Yep.
Yep, great, excellent. All right, well, as I said, my name is Joelle Rankins-Goodwin, and I work in the Office of Admissions at the University of Oregon, but I am also a proud alumni. I graduated in 1986 with a degree in communications. One of the, oops, let me do this. That didn't work. Just a second, sorry. One of the first things that we do whenever we present is to honor the land that the University of Oregon is built on, and I'm going to do that now. The University of Oregon is located on Kalapuya Ilahi, the traditional homelands of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, the Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, their descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians of Oregon, and they continue to make important contributions in their communities at the University of Oregon and across the land now referred to as Oregon. Just to give you a little bit of where we are and where we're located, we are in Eugene, which is about 2 hours south of Portland. Eugene is the second largest city in Oregon, second only to Portland. And we're about 3 hours from the California border. You'll have access to 2 airports. We have the Portland Airport, and then we have the Eugene Airport. Personally, if I can, whenever I fly in and out of Oregon, I use the Eugene Airport. So simple. Total of 2 baggage carousels. You're in and out of there so quickly, you just don't know it even hit you. Great place for outdoor recreation. Just about anything that you want to do when it comes to the outdoors, you'll be able to find here, in our beautiful Willamette Valley. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Go. So Eugene is a quintessential college town with over 250 miles of hiking and biking trails. You've got community events such as our Saturday market. You've got concerts. In the past, we've had Elton John, Bruno Mars, Garth Brooks, Macklemore, Kid Cudi. We've had Florida Georgia Line, just to name a few. We also have Broadway in Eugene, where we've had The Lion King come, and comedy shows come through our Holt Center for Performing Arts. I love Eugene. It's, like I said, it's the second largest city in Oregon. But it's really still got that college town feel, and there's so much to do without having to be in the big city. Next, we are a 295-acre campus. Don't let that scare you. You will find that that 295 acres is we're a #1 green city in Oregon. We have free public transportation as a University of Oregon student. Our weather, you're going to get all 4 seasons, and students can take advantage of a lot of the seasonal activities such as snowboarding, skiing, surfing, kayaking, and hiking. Now I'm going to ask, can you all see my cursor over here? Yeah, okay. Just to do a little bit of a layout. Over here is Autzen Stadium. That's where we play the football in the fall. Running through here is the Willamette River. And so we like to say that to get to Autzen Stadium, you literally go over the river and through the woods. And it's a great walk that I'm sure that Sasha will be able to tell you more about. It's a lot of fun. Here we have, that's Matthew Knight Arena. That's where you can catch you can catch concerts. That's where you can catch sporting events, men's and women's basketball, volleyball, acrobatics and tumbling. And right over here in the corner is, that's a brand new Hayward Field, just opened up this year. It was recently renovated. So we're really excited about that. Like I said, you can't let the size of the campus, 295 acres, scare you. You can get across campus walking in 10 to 15 minutes. If you can, well, I can't find my cursor now. Up there by Matthew Knight Arena, this is where the majority of our residence halls are. And let's say you're heading to the business school, which is at the other end of 13th Street. And that will take you, like I said, from up here to down here, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. All right. So why the University of Oregon? So we have a student population of just over 18,000 undergraduate students. We have a total population of about 21,000, that the remaining are graduate students. We've got students coming from all 50 states and over 100 countries. We like to say we have great geographic diversity. We are a top 50 public institution according to the U.S. News and World Report, and we're a member of the AAU, that's the Association of American Universities. That's the top 65 institutions in the United States and Canada recognized for excellence in academic and interdisciplinary research. As I said, we are a Tier 1 research institution, and about 75% of our undergraduate students are taking part in some sort of original research. Most, if not all, of our professors are performing research in addition to teaching. This just gives you an idea of some of the research things that are going on. A lot of people think that if you talk about research, you are you're in a lab someplace, you're playing with beakers and you have a lab coat on. Research is going on all across the campus of the University of Oregon throughout all of the different majors that make up the University of Oregon. So the Phil and Penny Knight Campus for Accelerating Scientific Impact is something that we are super, super excited about. Just opened up last year. It was with the opening of its first building in the fall, the Phil and Penny Knight Campus for Accelerating Scientific Impact allows students to tap into new opportunities and expertise in applied science and engineering to the University of Oregon. The Knight campus is an energetic place for where some of the country's most talented scientists and researchers are going to be working together on solutions that will help improve lives. Beyond that, the Knight campus will also sponsor several campus-wide programs to encourage inclusion in research, so there are ways to get involved in those programs which create community. So we're made up of about 240 different majors, minors, and concentrations. And we can talk a little bit, we'll talk a little bit about that as we go on. But I will say that if you don't know what your major is going to be, that's okay. A majority of our first year students start at the University of Oregon undecided, which is called exploring. We are a liberal arts institution. The College of Arts and Sciences is our largest. About 60% of our majors are within the College of Arts and Sciences. For example, the STEM fields, theater arts, English, we have a comic studies minor, and anthropology, just to name a few. The Lundquist College of Business is in the top 1% of business schools worldwide. You're going to gain critical business skills and internship, and there'll be internship programs that are available. We're accredited in business and accounting. Some examples of concentrations include sports business, finance, marketing, entrepreneurship, operations, and business analytics. Our College of Design, there are three architecture programs and product design within our College of Design, and they require a separate application. Next, our College of Education is ranked number 5 in the nation among public institutions. Students participate in over 400 hours of field work before graduation. Then we have our School of Journalism and Communication. They focus in hands-on learning. You'll have access to innovative labs and equipment. And we have some very famous alumni and some Pulitzer Prize winning winners who have come through our School of Journalism and Communication. We have a School of Music and Dance. Know that if music or dance is something that you're interested in, we have numerous ensembles that you can become involved in. We have On the Rocks, which is a men's a cappella group, or Divisi, which is a women's a cappella group. Then we have Mind the Gap is co-ed. There are, we have a university gospel ensemble, we have a wind ensemble, just all kinds of things that you can become involved in, and you don't have to be a music major. We do have the Oregon Marching Band also, and then dance classes that you can take part in. Again, not requiring you to be a music or a dance major. We have a School of Law, the Knight School of Law. Within there, you can, there's a legal studies minor. And then we also have a 3+3 program where students who are part of the Clark Honors College do their undergraduate work in 3 years, and then they do law school for 3 years, and then come out with your law degree. So that's our 3+3 program. And then the Robert D. Clark Honors College is one of the top 10 public honors colleges in the country. It offers a small cohort experience. We already have relatively small classes at the University of Oregon. Our median class size is 19. And when you talk about lectures and things like that, generally speaking, you're not going to have more than about 200 folks in a lecture. And then they break those down into smaller groups outside of your lectures. So again, the Clark Honors College, if you want if you want to really challenge yourself, it's more reading and writing intensive. Again, it offers a small cohort experience, and then this also requires a separate application. Study abroad. So we have more than 300 study abroad programs for you to consider, about 80 countries to choose from, and about 24% of our undergraduates take part in study abroad. There are also other things like international internship programs. Maybe you want to shadow a hospital in Ghana or shadow an artist in Greece. We also have a pre-freshman program. So that is, you've already applied to the University of Oregon and you've been accepted to the University of Oregon. The summer before you start college, you could do this pre-freshman program. You could go to London or you could go to Singapore are the two choices. And you go for a couple of weeks and you actually already earn college credit before you've even necessarily stepped foot on campus. Activities, what's there to do? Well, a lot. As you can see here, we have well over 300 clubs and organizations. We are a Division I NCAA school with football, men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, acrobatics and tumbling, cross country, track and field, women's soccer, women's lacrosse. So a lot of things to choose from. And then within clubs, just so many things. We do have fraternity life, which someone will talk to you about, fraternity and sorority life. But you name it, if there's something that you enjoy doing, more than likely we're going to have a club that associates with that activity. So we are one of the top 20 public universities for graduating underrepresented students. We have a pretty good student diversity. Students have the ability to share, learn, and connect and seek resources from one another and faculty and staff. I mentioned the different clubs and organizations. Those include, we have an LGBTQIA organization. We have a women's center. We have student unions. We have a Latinx community group, Native American Student Union, the Black Student Union, Pacific Islander Club. And then we have a very robust Veterans Center as our veterans population grows on campus. University housing. So it is a requirement for all incoming freshmen to live in the residence halls their freshman year. There can be exceptions, can be made. A person just needs to request that. So we have 10 residence halls and numerous room types for you to choose from. Exciting news is this year, this fall, we're opening a brand new, beautiful residence hall and welcome center. It will be called Unthank Hall, named after one of the first African-American graduate of the University of Oregon's architecture school. Excuse me. So numerous room types for you to choose from. You can go on to the housing website. You can check out what the different rooms look like. You can check out what the different halls look like. And they have varying costs just depending on which building you happen to be housed in. And then I guess I'll say it's a requirement freshman year, but a majority of the students will move off campus their sophomore year. So ARCs, academic residential communities. We have 15 of them, and some examples are business, environmental leaders, global engagement, art and design, health and sciences, media, social action. This is living with people who have same interests as you academically. And then you'll have a faculty advisor. Classes are taken during your first year, and they'll be in relation to the ARC that you are a part of. Our career services, we have another relatively new building that opened up. Tykeson Hall is where you will find our career services, where you can connect with different companies, students do mock interviews. They work with you on resumes, cover letter workshops. Handshake is an online student portal where students can find jobs and internships. And internships can be found, again, throughout the university, through all the different majors and schools that make up the University of Oregon. And then we have a couple of college fairs that happen on campus. There are 2 college fairs, one in the fall and one in the spring. And that's where literally hundreds of potential employers come to the University of Oregon and they want to meet our students. So, sorry, I lost my cursor again. This just gives you an example of some of the top employers that are hiring University of Oregon ducks. So, applying to the University of Oregon, what do you need? What do we consider? We look at, we realize that you're more than just a number, but we do look at your GPA. We look at grade trends, academic courses, the rigor of the courses that you're taking. If your school offers AP, IB, or honors, are you at least trying some of those, or trying whatever the hardest classes are that your school might be offering? We look at your senior schedule. You need to stay strong throughout your senior year, finish strong because it does matter. We look at activities, work, volunteering. What are you doing in your extra time? Are you volunteering? Are you working a job? Are you playing an instrument, playing a sport? What is it that you do? So there are 3 ways to apply to the University of Oregon. It does not matter to us which one you choose. We accept the common application, the coalition application. If you haven't heard of that, it's very similar to the common application, but not quite as well known. And then we have the Oregon application. Again, it doesn't matter to us which one you use. If you're applying to 10 different schools and they all happen to be on the common application, and that's probably the one that you should use. Here are our deadlines. We have an early action deadline. Our application, I should say, for fall of 2022, or actually each year for the new school year, is usually online by the first week in August. So we have an early action deadline. You can apply by 1 November and get a you'll get a response by 15 December. That response will be one of three things: accepted, denied, or deferred for holistic review. What does for holistic review mean? Well, we do look at all of our students holistically, but we're going to take a deeper dive into those that get deferred to later in the year. Usually you'll find out about the March timeframe. And if you are accepted under early action, it is non-binding. Then regular decision, get your application in by the 15th of January. And so you have applied. And then our document deadline is February 15th. Whether you apply by 1 November or January 15th really doesn't matter to us. That's all on you, and you know how confident you feel, how quick you want to get your stuff in there. There is no great advantage to you applying early action, other than you find out sooner where you stand. So funding college. So we in 2018-19, we need to update our slide here. 2018-19, we offered about $246 million in financial aid. And so I will talk to you a little bit about a couple of the scholarships that we offer. These are some of our merit-based scholarships. The UO Excellence, the Summit, and the Apex are all merit-based. With the Summit and the Apex, that we are, you know what I didn't mention previously, we are requirements. We are test optional school. And I mention that now because we are test blind when it comes to our merit-based scholarships. The other one I want to, the STAMP scholarship is really a STAMP scholarship, pays for tuition and fees, and it's a 3.85 GPA requirement. Really rigorous process, but really well worth it if it's something that you would like to apply for. The Oregon Guarantee states that whatever the tuition is when you begin school at the University of Oregon, that will be the scholarship, that will be the tuition throughout your 4 up to 5 years, should it take you that long. And so that's our guarantee to you. What are next steps? Well, ways to explore the University of Oregon. Well, I will say that we have been doing virtual, we've been virtual for the past year plus, with some in person, but starting in September this fall, we will be back in the classrooms. And so, but in the meantime, we have just started campus tours back up. But you can also, we still have available virtual tours at virtual.uoregon.edu. And then, oh, that didn't, I don't know what happened there. Why didn't that one? So that's all that I have for you, but please feel free to contact me if you have other questions about the University of Oregon. I will put my, my email address in the chat for you. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Joelle. I have a couple questions that I'd like to ask. One question came in regarding students with learning differences. What sort of support is on campus for students who need some extra support around their academics?
Yeah, for sure. We have what's called the Accessible Education Center, or AEC, and that they cover the gamut. If someone needs help getting across campus, there are shuttle buses that can help with that. If someone needs help with more time taking tests, or you know, or needs help taking tests, someone just all kinds of things that are available to you through the AEC, and you contact them.
Okay. And you actually talked about financial aid. There was a question about that. You talked about that. And, you know, being in California, we're well aware of the Oregon Ducks football team. So can you talk a little bit about the sports culture up on campus and what that is like? We know football, but beyond, what else is there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, there's club sports. If you don't want to, you know, if you're other than the Division I sports, we have club sports, and we've got in club sports, there's everything from archery to water polo, judo, jiu-jitsu, disc golf, ultimate frisbee. There's a running club. There is we have an equestrian team. So a lot of, the club sports. Then we also have a very robust intramural sports program. So you just want the opportunity to go out and hang with your friends, with maybe you put together a team from the residence hall you live in, or your fraternity or sorority, whatever, you put a team together. And I guess one of the more popular ones is dodgeball. And I know they do softball. So yeah, a lot of opportunities to get out. And then, you know, perhaps you know that we are Tracktown USA. If you are not a runner when you get to Eugene, you may be one by the time you leave, because there are people all over walking, running. We have over something I don't think I mentioned, 250 miles of bicycle and running trails throughout Lane County. So,
wow, that's great. And finally, the last question here for you is a question around access to professors. What is, and maybe Sasha, you can speak to it too, but Joelle, from the admissions side, what is the likelihood of a freshman, sophomore having a connection with a professor?
Yeah, so all professors have office hours, and I always encourage students to really take advantage of that. By the same token, because I want Sasha to, if she can, to talk more about access to professors, but I also want to talk about academic advisors. There's only one time when you're at the University of Oregon that you have to see an academic advisor, and that's during orientation. And I always implore upon students, that is a big mistake, not to see your academic advisor more than that one time. Set it up. If it's once a quarter, check in with them, make sure that you're on track. We have so many services available to our students. There is no, and I say this from the heart because I struggled as a student at the University of Oregon. We have so many more services and so much more access now than they had when I was there. There is no reason for a student to struggle at the University of Oregon.
Thank you so much. That's such great advice. Thank you, Joelle. I am going to now pass it over to Andy to hear a little bit about the Hillel on campus.
Sorry about that, the technical difficulties real quick. All right. Awesome. Well, so Oregon Hillel, for those that don't know, Hillel nationally is the only pluralistic Jewish organization that serves college campuses, meaning we're not affiliated or connected with any of the Jewish movements. Our doors are open to any and all students. Specifically at the University of Oregon, one of the things we pride ourselves on is engaging with non-Jewish student community as well too. So friends, partners, students who may find out in their history that they have a connection to Judaism somehow. Everything we do is focused on supporting students and helping them have a memorable and supportive experience throughout the time that they're on college and they're on our campus. Our staff is focused on well-being and wellness, ensuring students have advocates with issues in and around Jewish holidays and holiday observances. And then we have a whole host of different programs as well too. Let me see if we can, there we go. So we estimate that there's about 1,600 Jewish students that are enrolled as an undergrad at the U of O, and roughly about 400 enrolled as a graduate student. So it's about 8 to 10% of the campus population. We believe that about 80% of those students do come from out of state, just given the trends and the populations in Oregon, with the highest number of Jewish students enrolling from Southern and Northern California primarily. Then Seattle is probably the next largest area. Portland in-state, we have a significant number of Jewish students from there. And we've been seeing more and more students, and this is my 9th year that I'm finishing as the director of Oregon Hillel. Over my 9 years, we've seen more and more students coming, Jewish students coming from the Phoenix area, Las Vegas, Denver, and with the success of the football team and the other athletics and the other sports, we've seen more students from Chicago, Miami, Texas, Florida. Really, I can't impress enough what Joel mentioned. There is a wide geographic diversity of students on campus. It's really over the last 9 years shifted from a primarily West Coast heavy to really expanding into the Midwest as well too. So you'll meet students from all over the place. We will see at one point or another throughout the various programs and services, and we have some photos of some of the things that we've done. You can tell this is from this year with all the masks and all the social distancing. While classes were meeting virtually, we do feel, and this is a best guess, that we had a significant number, probably 75% of the undergrad students were actually living in Eugene, whether it's in their sororities or apartments, freshman housing on campus. And so we did our best to provide a safe environment for our community to engage as young adults. We've shifted away from the idea that our students are looking for a youth group on campus. They're really looking for young adult experiences and how we can help support them in engaging with each other in that way. So this year, we spent a lot of time doing Shabbat deliveries. So setting up an opportunity where students could order Shabbat dinners. Sasha will tell you, hopefully they've been great, but we'll see anywhere between 80 to 100 students ordering Shabbat dinners. About 20 of those students each week are not Jewish. They're roommates and friends and partners that just want to share in Shabbat with, with their community, with their roommates. We take care of vegan, vegetarian, all the different dietary needs that our people might have, and there are a few out there for us. So we do our best to ensure that we keep all those in mind and make sure that students have the support that they need. We do matzo ball soup deliveries. That's contactless, so we make it fresh in our building, and parents can call us. Most students at this point of the year have our cell phone numbers, and they'll just text myself or Kaya or one of our other staff members and just ask us if we can drop some soup off for them. We did do our best around every holiday that we had to ensure that there were opportunities for students to engage that way as well too. And we did recognize that there was a real challenge, especially for our freshmen this year. With just meeting other freshmen, when you're socially distant, you don't have the classroom opportunities and you don't have the in-person engagement around sporting events and some of the things that Joel highlighted that are really big ways that our students do build community and connect with each other. So we got creative, and we would meet up behind the union on campus, and the university had set up tents, and we would meet up back there, and that way students could pick their meals up from us there. They can hang out with each other in the tented area, and then we would do a lot of one-on-one follow-up. Most of our focus has shifted to people and not programs. Our primary focus is you as a student, and we want to be there for you in whatever unique and individual way that we can. We do the holidays. We have our sukkah up for Sukkot for this year's, for the enrolling 2021 class. The high holidays for the Jewish community will be before move-in, which is a nice breath of fresh air. We did have the university start a day late the last 2 years to help students observe Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, and we're grateful to Joel's team over at admissions that worked with us multiple years ago to learn those spaces. We do have a process at the University of Oregon where you can miss a class for religious observance. We help students with that. Sometimes our faculty may not be fully aware of that policy, and so all it takes is reaching out to anyone on our team, and within minutes we're usually able to help that student resolve that potential conflict. It's something that we really are focused on. For any holiday that happens when you're on campus, we will always have an opportunity. We would love for you to host your own Seder, or host your own, or go back, get home if you can, so you can be with your family. But if you can't, we do our very best to give you everything you need for your own Passover Seder. We're handing out free boxes of matzah on campus, so if you need to access those, because sometimes, especially if you're a freshman and you might not have access to the local area shopping centers and things like that, and grocery stores, it may be a little challenging, but our team is here to help you access everything that you need for those. This year especially, one of the things that we've learned is the focus on small group cohort experiences. One of the beauties of Oregon is the mean class size is about 19. And by creating smaller cohorts of students versus a large gathering for a Shabbat or a holiday, we've been able to help students tap in and connect with people who are interested in learning about everything from wellness and wellness techniques, from paint nights and using art and art therapy. We've done yoga. We've done meetups with local therapists and provide resources and access to the university, which has an amazing new health center on campus and has a lot of great resources there to ensure that students have good access to health and wellness. We ran several different learning symposiums, so we do have educational opportunities. And then Kaya ran a couple that were a lot of fun this year that I'll let her tell you about.
Yes, thank you for sharing so much, Andy. We have been having such a great time with cohort experiences, really enabling students to connect with other students across campus when opportunities in person were not available. A few that I ran myself were our Israeli cooking club. I provided all ingredients. I provided a cookbook, an apron, everything you needed in order to really taste flavors of Israel and be able to connect with other students through food. I did a Israel Learning Fellowship as well as our Duck Leadership Network cohort experience. So our Duck Leadership Network is our platform for you to be empowered as a leader, to take things that you're passionate about and through leadership and mentorship, really create community around things that you really care about, as well as our Duck Leadership Cohort experiences, which takes students and really helps them grow their leadership skills through bringing speakers, connecting with other leaders on campus. Sasha was actually in our cohort, and so maybe she'll share a little bit about that, but it was really a great opportunity for students to connect with other existing leaders on campus and really enhance their skills.
So in addition to those cohort opportunities, our rabbi that's on our staff is actually also on Judaic Studies faculty at the University of Oregon. It's a very unique partnership. And so he teaches one course a term. So you can actually get college credit for taking a course on medieval Judaism, although there is no jousting and no knights. I was not so thrilled to learn that. He does one on modern American Jewish experience, which looks at the entire growth of the Jewish community from the time of early landing at Plymouth Rock, basically all the way through to today, and then created a new course on social justice and oration using the speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rabbi Heschel, and looking at how their persuasion and speeches impacted social justice movements. So those are all actually for credit towards your graduation and towards some of your different requirements for general education requirements. We also did 5-week symposiums on Holocaust studies, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict through a values-based program with the Shalom Hartman Institute, which is based out of Jerusalem. We do 3 different trips to Israel. We do Birthright twice a year, which you may or may not know about. We're happy to fill you in. Kaya is taking our trip this summer. We have 18 ducks and beavers heading out at the end of August, and we're excited for that. We do a perspectives trip to dig into and hear from Palestinian perspectives, Israeli perspectives, and coexistence perspectives. It's primarily actually for non-Jewish students, but we do have a limited number of seats for Jewish students as well. And then we also have our Shalom Hartman Symposium, where we join 150 students from around North America, Michigan, MIT, Wisconsin, Stanford, UCLA, UW up in Seattle. And it's a 10-day program at the Shalom Hartman Institute in Jerusalem. We do our very best, and we're able to help provide scholarships for every student to help defray some of those costs. We do bagel brunches. We talked about the matzo ball soup hotline. We're always into social opportunities because students want to be able to socialize with each other and broaden their network. This year, we had the expansion and creation of our LGBTQIA+. It's a very active group that meets currently. They do Monday social hour meetups. We hosted a Tel Aviv Pride Shabbat a couple of weeks back, where they engaged with the LGBTQ centers at both the University of Oregon and Oregon State to provide a really cool experience and learn more about resources for our LGBTQIA+ students. We have one of our favorite student experiences, which is our ski retreat. We obviously couldn't do that last year. We hope to do it next year, certainly by 2023, 3, the winter, we think we'll be back up in beautiful Bend and Sun River. We take about 90 students with us up there. We stay in cabins. We know young adults are enjoying a young adult experience up there. Most students don't ski. They really hang out in the hot tubs and spend Shabbat together, and build their community together. It's one of the more memorable experiences for students where they can really broaden their network. We have a women's retreat that we've expanded over the years that's looked at all kinds of women's programming and women's issues. We hope to be able to expand that off the virtual platform, but we did do that on the virtual space as well. And then, as Kaya said, we're always listening to our students. We want to know what you're excited about doing. And so if we don't have something, we'd love to create it. If you're interested in getting experience, we've helped students build and create big symposiums on campus for the broad community with 200 and 300 people and multiple $1,000 budgets, where we've helped them understand how to do everything from build a budget to solicit the gifts to write the grants to actually doing all the work on the ground. And so we're here to help students navigate that as they want. This is our ragtag bunch in Eugene. We do have a full and a half-time staff person in Corvallis. We've done a lot of collaborating this year. We're going to continue to do that because the virtual space has allowed us to do that. I'm that guy on the end. You've met Kaya. Rabbi Meir Goldstein's our senior Jewish educator. He's one of the best. He fits right into this community exceptionally well. Talia Leader is our social justice springboard fellow. So she'll be here next year working in the social justice space on campus. Everything from food insecurity to vote registration opportunities, and looking for whatever social justice issues that our community is working on, including collaborating with the NAACP in town, working collectively on campus. And then Maddie Schaefer is also on our team. She does work with some students, and she's our development associate. So she helps us keep the funds coming in to help keep all the great programs, but also has been a great resource for students in helping them with grant writing classes. U of O has a great nonprofit management program as well too. And so we have a lot of students that'll come and do internships with us as well. Here's how you can get at us. We do have a great website that you can reach us as well too. Dinner just arrived for my daughter, so I'll stay on the call. I'll be able to answer questions. We've got great information that's always being updated on our website, including our events calendar. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We will follow you back. And we have some small private groups that we set up specifically just for students so that our students can engage each other without the meddling of parents and whatnot and other adults in the community, so that they can really have their conversations and have their networks. And so we have several different ones. So as you apply, get accepted, and enroll in this great university, we can get you into a network of students. And so when you want to talk about selling a couch, meeting up for an opportunity, anything that you want to communicate with your peers to, you have an easy network to access it. And
Thank you so much, Andy and Kaya, for that. That was awesome. And with our time left, I'm going to pass it over to Sasha to talk about the student experience on campus. Take it away, Sasha.
Okay. I'm just going to wait for it to load. Okay, so my name is Sasha Pohl, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about my freshman and also sophomore experience at Oregon. Can I do the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm currently a sophomore. I'm a public relations major. I fell in love with the major about halfway through my freshman year, and the school could not have made it any easier to follow that pathway. I'm originally from Seattle, so I'm very used to the rain, but all of my roommates are not from Seattle. So I've kind of had to help them figure out that you don't bring an umbrella anywhere, no matter what. And I have 5 roommates, and I actually met them all at Oregon Hillel, and that photo on the far, I think, right, I'm horrible with directions, another fun fact. That's just all of us hanging out our freshman year before we knew like how close we all would get. Could I do next slide? Thank you. Okay, so a little bit about me and why I went to Oregon. I came from a very small private arts high school, and we had no school spirit. It was like every single day we like apologized we would be there. If any of you have heard of, it was not fantastic. And I kind of thought that, you know, this is cool. This is what I like. This is where I am. I can pursue the arts. This is exactly what I need. And I thought that going into college, I would be looking for another private arts university. I thought, you know, this is what I want. something on either the East Coast or the West Coast, no in betweens, done. And then my college advisor said, hey, I know this isn't what you're looking for, but why don't you look a little at some Oregon schools? And one of them happened to be the University of Oregon. And I knew a friend who went to Oregon, and he showed me around. And from like the minute I stepped on campus, I was like, oh my God, everyone is like so happy to be here. Everyone was so sweet, and everyone just looked so thrilled that literally every day they were like here on campus at Oregon. I toured one other school after that out of the schools I got into. And I looked at my dad in the car on the way back from another Oregon school, and I went, nope, we're done looking. We had 7 more schools to look at, and I didn't look at any of them. I fell in love with Oregon so fast. It's just been the best. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, a little bit about my life at Oregon in a word, as I'm sure you can tell, because I'm very excited. I'm in Greek life. I'm in the Gamma Phi Beta sorority, which has been awesome. I've met amazing friends. I have a little, which is super cool. I get to make a bunch of motherhood jokes. My roommate is also in Gamma Phi Beta, which has been just the best. And we also met at Hillel, so it's like we have a bunch in common. Oregon Hillel has been a life changer. It's just been best. It's such a community away from home. When Kaya texted me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of this, I was like, oh my gosh, like I love Oregon Hillel. It's just provided me with such amazing opportunities. As I mentioned before, I'm part of the School of Journalism and Communication, the SOJC. It's awesome. I use the computer labs every single day. I get access to such amazing programs and labs that the journalism students have. And I've actually been able to connect with other school organizations. I'm a part of Oregon Pink. I'm a campus trendsetter for them. So I get to curate media content for them. I run some of their social media channels. It's been fantastic. And even next year, I'm working with the Black Sheep UO, which is a marketing program that uses students as micro-influencers. And it's just fantastic. Can I get the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so my experience with Jewish life on campus, I just want to preface this by saying when I came to college, I had known the people in my temple since I was in 3rd grade. I was like, oh, you know what? I already have a tight-knit community. It's not like you find that twice. I know what I'm doing. You know, I love being Jewish, but I already found my people. So wrong, so unbelievably wrong. I came into Oregon Hillel, and literally on the very first night of Shabbat, I met my best friends. It sounds very corny, but it's the absolute truth. Oregon Hillel has provided me with so much. Shabbat dinners are amazing. Andy and Kai are absolutely right. They are so good. We get them every single week. We all get to go on ski retreat. So we all got to go to Sun River and Bend. And that was really the trip that like solidified all of our bonds. So it's a really special place in my heart. Board game nights, as Suza created, the best. Board game nights at Hillel, you can't miss them. They're fantastic. And then I've been able to be a part of Cohorts, which have just been fantastic. I just finished a Holocaust education cohort with Rabbi Meir, which was fantastic and really educated me on a lot of topics. And I did the Duck leadership cohort, which was just fantastic. I learned a lot about, you know, networking and kind of being a professional. And it's just experience that I could not have gotten anywhere else. And of course, my friends, broken record, I met my friends at Oregon Hillel. I really found my people. It's been a huge part of my freshman experience. I show up every week, pre-pandemic times, but as soon as this is over, I will be back every week. No one can stop me. And for the most part on campus, this is excluding Oregon Hillel, I have had a very positive experience. While I can't think of any distinct experiences that I know of, every now and then I'll kind of hear a story of a friend who had a unfortunate incident and complained to the school that it's just kind of the only things that I've heard are things I've heard. That sounds very vague, but I really don't have any of my own experiences to speak on, and neither do any of the friends that I've met here. But also Hillel is a huge advocate for students facing anti-Semitism. And there's absolutely resources for anti-Semitic experiences. Can I get the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, things I would change about my experiences. This is not like something not to do. I had a freshman interest group when I came, and it's like kind of a few courses in a group that you meet every week with to kind of discuss what your freshman interest group is about. I thought that they were mandatory, and I picked something, a topic. I picked theater, which I loved in high school, but was not really the path for me in college. So half of my course load fall term of freshman year was related to theater, which is something I wish I could have either picked a different one or not taken one. But I actually met also some of my best friends and future sorority sisters in my freshman interest group. So they're still pretty great. Regarding classes, when I signed up for classes, I thought 8 a.m. Math 101 was like the best choice of my life. No, it was not. That was a mistake. You don't really need to take math depending on your major. And I also took chem. So I basically, when I showed up, I thought I should take the classes that I took in high school. And I wish that I didn't do that. I wish I just went in and was like, wow, oceanography sounds really cool. I will sign up for that. But that is something that absolutely the advisors can help you with. And I just want to say this now before I forget, the advisors are amazing. They have been so helpful. They made the transition from psychology, which was my original major, to journalism so simple. They are so helpful. And I actually, this is just a testament to how good they are. Usually you're kind of supposed to do a graduation plan kind of early when you get here. And I'm a bit of a procrastinator. And I just had my graduation plan a couple weeks ago. And I plan to graduate in 4 years, and I'm a sophomore and I'm about to be a junior. But what I did do is every single term, I would go to the academic advising and I would say, hey, this is my major. Here's what I've done. Here's what I want to do as a minor. What do you think I should do just for this next term alone? And they would tell me and kind of help me figure it out, even though I sent them a million very irritating emails. And long story short, I showed up to my advising appointment. I was like, this is my own fault. You know, I didn't do a graduation plan. No, I actually am set to graduate on time because the advising is so fantastic, so helpful. Every single person I know there is just the best. And my roommate actually has a connection. She's like my favorite advisor. So it's really sweet. So I guess my main advice would just be, you know, relax a little, think a little about what you want to do in college, but just kind of come in with an open mind is what, for the most part, I would change about my experience. If I could just get the next slide. Thank you. Things I love. Oh my God, I am a broken record today. The people. I think that everyone at University of Oregon is really happy to be there. And I find that really refreshing. There was a college that I toured right after U of O. And I remember stepping on campus and was like, wow, this looks like a fantastic college. I really like it. And then my tour group went into the lunchroom and no one looked happy to be there. Everyone was staring at their phones. And I was like, oh, but this is so cool. Like, why wouldn't everyone want to be here? And then I realized that not a lot of people wanted to be there. And then at U of O, you'd step into the EMU and you'd see a million people talking and just everyone was having like the time of their life. There's like a cappella concerts just going on as you walk by. It's just, the culture is so like lively. Everyone's just seems really thrilled to be there. I really love being at a place where people love being there just every day. Of course, the academic advising, just fantastic. My teacher, it's actually really funny, someone mentioned this earlier, literally 2 weeks ago, this is so embarrassing. Fall term, I took a PR class that I just fell in love with. I really enjoyed it. And then recently I emailed the teacher and said, I'm so sorry, this is so overdue, but I just loved your class. And I was just wondering if we could talk. And within like 2 days, they were like, yes, that means so much. Let's chat. Like, when are you free? What's up? It's just been so great. The teachers are just thrilled to connect with you. The food is fantastic. GSH rice bowls have a special place in my heart. Definitely love them. School spirit, obviously. And also at the University of Oregon, this isn't something I was concerned about before college, but every now and then I felt like this was a very parent thing to hear. Parents would kind of be like, oh, it's a big, yeah, dude, you don't want to feel like a number. And I was like, well, I don't really care if I feel like a number. I have never, not once, felt like a number ever at the University of Oregon. I always feel like my needs are really being met and everyone really cares, which is just really special. Next slide, please. Thank you. And I guess that's the end of my presentation. Scoducks. And then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Sasha. I could feel like I kind of want to go to school there. You made it sound so fun and amazing and supportive, and you all did. Thank you so much. There was a question in our Q&A, and Kaya answered it, but I'll share it with you. Is there a lot of overlap between peers in Greek life and peers at Hillel, or are they mostly separate groups?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You know what? You are actually the perfect person to answer.
My sorority house is actually right next to Oregon Hillel. And basically it is like a weekly thing where I will get texts from girls in my sorority, some Jewish, some not. It's like, hey, you at Hillel tonight? Like, can I join? I find that there's like great overlap. It's really cool to have a roommate that's both in the same sorority and goes to Oregon Hillel, but yeah, I would say there's a good amount of people both in Greek life and do Hillel, and by no means are they like mutually exclusive or like tough to balance in any way. It's just, it's super easy and really fun.
Thank you for that. Well, I want to stick, oh, I think it looks like, do we have another question? Yes, one more question and then we'll wrap up, just trying to stick to our time limit. Do most people move off campus for their sophomore plus years?
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are places, I mean, there are some people do. I mean, you'll have the occasional person that will stay all 4 years, but by and large, folks move off. There's apartment complexes, fraternities, sororities, houses, etc., all around the area.
Okay, well, that sounds wonderful. Oh, we have another question. All the questions are coming in right at the end here. Oh, just a thank you from one of our participants.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jordan.
Yeah, we can see that. So I'd love to thank the U of O team here that we have. Thank you so much for participating in our virtual college road trip tonight. We really, really appreciate you all being here and your time this evening. And with that, I will say goodbye. Thank you. Bye, everybody.